Leroy.
The Kraft Foods Company, makers of Kraft Quality Foods, presents Harold Perry as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you by the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous cheese food Velveeta. Everybody goes for Velveeta's rich yet mild cheddar cheese flavor in snacks, in sandwiches, and in hot dishes. And Velveeta, you know, helps supply important food values from milk and is as digestible as milk itself. That's why smart homemakers keep Velveeta on hand regularly to spread or slice and to melt for grand economical hot dishes. Tomorrow, get Velveeta, the cheese food of Kraft quality. Well, there's an undercurrent of excitement around the breakfast table at the Great Gildersleeve's house this morning. For several weeks, the house next door has been vacant. But this morning, a moving van pulled up and started unloading.
Oh, Roy!
Leroy, sit down and eat your breakfast.
Yes, Leroy, it's corny to stare out the window.
Just like a gossipy old hen peeking out through the curtains.
Gosh, off the side of the moving van says Sioux Center. Must have come from way out west. Sioux Center. I want to see what they're unloading.
They're not going to unload any Indians, Leroy.
What an impossible little brother. How can you be so nosy, Leroy? Now they're taking out a phonograph. Oh, they are? Oh, I'd like to see that.
Marjorie, not you, too.
It's a phonograph, all right. I wonder if they have any new records. More coffee, Miss Gildersleeve?
Yeah, thank you, Bertie. Well, I guess I may as well let the children watch them unload.
Yes, sir. You know how curious children are.
Now they're unloading the washing machine.
They are?
Oh, let me see that.
What a family.
Hey, that a Lulu.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Looks like an all-automatic. That's what every house needs, Mr. Gildersleeve, an all-automatic.
Gosh, they haven't got the thing yet. What's that?
That's a high boy.
Hi.
Junior comic. Can't understand why people are so nosy. By George, I'm going to finish my breakfast.
Oh, look what they're unloading now, a pool table.
Pool table? Let me see that.
Make room at the window for Mr. Gildersleeve.
Bertie, I'll come to the window, but I won't look. I'm not that curious.
Oh, that must be the man who rented the house. Just drove up. Yep, that's the guy. South Dakota license plate. Where you going, Unky?
Well, if we're going to have a new neighbor, my dear, the proper thing to do is go over and get acquainted.
Okay, I'll go, Unky.
No, you won't. I'll go over myself. It's not that I'm curious. It's simply the polite thing to do.
Wait, Unky.
What's the matter?
You still have your toast in your hand.
Toast? Oh, well, I'll take it along. Can't tell. On the way over, I might meet a bird. This toast is burned around the edges. Here, bird. Yeah. Not bad-looking furniture on that truck. Grand piano, too. Must have money. Vacuum cleaner looks old-fashioned now. Bag needs emptying. Say, rubber-tired lawnmower. Plastic hose. You can see they live well. Guess the fellow must be in the house. Door's ajar, but I'd better ring the bell. Doesn't ring. Guess the electricity isn't turned on. I'll just stick my head in the door and say hello.
Hello?
Oop, hello.
You the gas man?
Me? No, I'm your next-door neighbor, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. Thought I'd come over and say hello.
Well, good. Glad to see you. I'm Oliver T.P. Pearson.
Glad to meet you, Mr. Pearson. You say it was Oliver T.P.?
Yes, T.P. I'm in the clothing business. Oliver Two Pants Pearson.
Well, glad you're going to be with us, Mr. Pearson. Come all the way from Sioux Center, did you?
Yes, sir. Going into business. Understand you're a prominent man here, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, I'm in water. That is, I'm city water commissioner.
Oh, I know that.
You do?
Yes, Sir, before I took this house, I checked into the neighborhood.
Oh?
When I found out the water commissioner was going to be my neighbor, I said right then and there, this is the place for me.
Really? Well, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
You mentioned the gas man. Have you had your water turned on? I can take care of that for you.
That's very kind of you, Gildersleeve, but I sent in the order yesterday.
Well, I'll check on it when I get to my office. We want to be sure. Takes a heap of water to make a house a home.
I like you, Gildersleeve.
Well, family man, are you, Mr. Pearson?
Oh, sure, but the family's still up in Sioux Center. I came on ahead to get things straightened out.
Well, if there's anything we can do for you, don't you hesitate to call on us. Anything at all.
Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve. That's nice of you, but I don't believe in imposing on my neighbors.
Well, a good neighbor doesn't mind. Feel free to come over at any time.
Well, thanks again. You're a real friend.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Gildersleeve.
Fine fellow, Pearson. Salt of the earth.
Hey, Unc.
What? Oh, Leroy in the hedge.
Any kids in the family, Unc? Are they boys or girls? Any my age? What'd you find out, Unc?
Shh, keep your voice down, Leroy. We have fine, intelligent people next door. Go wash your face and put on a clean shirt. And stay out of Mr. Pearson's hedge. Bessie, come into my office. Bessie?
Did you call me, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Bessie, do you know if Mr. Oliver Pearson's water has been turned on?
Mr. Oliver Pearson?
Yes, I just talked to him.
Doesn't he know?
Oh, my goodness. Bessie, he's just moved to town.
Oh, yes, sir. That's the Pearson. That would be under the P.
It was when I went to school.
Oh, here it is. Oliver Pearson.
Well, good for you, Bessie.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, it's a good thing we looked up his card.
Why, Bessie?
He didn't pay his water bill last month.
Bessie, Mr. Pearson wasn't in town last month.
Oh, well, that explains why he didn't pay it.
You tell Charlie Anderson to drop whatever he's doing, Bessie, and turn on their water immediately.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that girl.
Good morning, Water Department.
What? Oh, hello, Judge.
Good morning, Judge Hooker.
Morning, Gildy. Morning, Bessie. And it is a good morning.
Oh, brother.
Commissioner, I dropped in to see if you would like to go nutting this afternoon.
Nutting?
No use letting the other squirrels get 'em.
Not today, Judge. I'm getting my new neighbor set up.
New neighbor?
Yeah, Two Pants Pearson. Just moved in next door to me. And believe me, Summerfield is lucky to get a citizen like him. I'd like to have you come out and meet him, Judge.
Oh?
Oh, yes, a high-type, intelligent fellow. Has a grand piano.
You don't say.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Judge. Bessie, we're going out to see how Mr. Pearson is getting along.
Yes, sir.
Well, if we can't go nutting, we might as well go see the new neighbor. Hi, neighbor, what do you know?
An amusing old goat. Yes, sir, Judge. This fellow Pearson is a charming fellow. We might do well to invite him to join the Jolly Boys Club.
Can he sing?
Of course he could sing. He's a regular fellow. Look, there he is waving at me from the upstairs window.
He isn't waving at you, Gildy. He's just cleaning the windows.
Oh. Well, if he's busy now, we'll go over a little later, huh? Come on in the house, Judge.
Thank you, Gildy.
Back in the Gildersleeve?
Yes, Bertie.
Hello, Bertie.
Well, good morning, Judge Hooker.
We just stopped in for a minute, Bertie. We're going to call on our new neighbor, Mr. Pearson.
Yes, sir. He was just over here to call on you, Miss Gildersleeve.
Oh?
Bought 3 light bulbs.
He did? Well, I told him to come over for anything he wanted.
Well, that's what he wanted. We didn't have any spare bulbs, but I dug them up for him.
Well, good for you, Bertie.
One out of the service porch, one out of the hall, and one out of your reading lamp.
My reading lamp?
That's all right, Gildy. If you want to read, you can go over to his house.
Now, Judge, I'm glad he feels free to come over here when he needs something.
I get it.
Never mind, Bertie. I'm right here.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, Mr. Pearson, come right in. I'd like to have you meet a very good friend of mine, Judge Horace Hooker.
Judge Hooker. Well, how do you do, sir? This is indeed a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure to know you, Mr. Pearson.
I don't want to be a bother, Mr. Gildersleeve, but I wonder if I can use your telephone.
Oh, no bother at all. Not at all. Go right ahead. It's right there in the hall.
Well, thanks very much.
The Summerfield directory is right there with the telephone.
Oh, I won't need it. I'm calling long distance.
Oh? Well, help yourself.
My, long distance.
He did say long distance, didn't he?
Operator, I'd like to talk to Mrs. Oliver Pearson, Sioux Center, South Dakota.
South Dakota? That's a long ways away.
Yeah.
I'm calling my wife in South Dakota, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, good. You see, Judge, I told you could sing.
Hello? Hello, is that you, Fluff?
You must be a long ways away.
I wanted you to know I made it all right. Yeah, the trip was fine. No problem at all. What did you say, Fluff?
Still at it.
Will you repeat that, Fluff? Oh, yes. The neighbors are fine. Wonderful neighbors. He's a grand fellow. His name is Gildersleeve. No, Fluff, not Gilder Cheese, Gildersleeve. That's right.
Gilder cheese.
All right, Judge.
Tell me, Fluff, how's your mother?
He's been on the phone over 6 minutes, Gildy. That's quite a while on long distance.
Mm-hmm.
That's his business, Judge. It's his phone call.
Yeah, but it's your phone bill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, dandy, Fluff.
Now, Judge, Pearson can't pay me till he calls the operator back and finds out what the bill is.
I'll hang up now.
He's going to hang up.
Nice to talk to you, Fluff. I'll expect you next week. Goodbye, Fluff. Goodbye.
7 minutes on the nose.
Please, Judge, he can afford it.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, that's perfectly all right.
Well, I'd better get back.
So soon, but,
Oh, yes, I have more windows to clean. Well, Abyssinia.
But, Pearson, aren't you, forgetting something?
Forgetting something? Oh, yes, I beg your pardon.
Sure.
Goodbye, Judge Hooker. It's been a pleasure to meet.
Oh, goodbye, Mr. Pearson. Gildy, do you mind if I use your phone? I want to call South Africa.
Never mind. Give me that telephone. Operator, what were the charges on that call? How much?
Zeke.
The great Gildersleeve will see Mr. Pearson about that in just a minute. If you're one of the mothers who are trying to solve the problem of what to put in Junior's lunchbox, here's an A-plus solution. Make his lunchbox sandwiches with Kraft's famous cheese food, Velveeta, often. That young man of yours will really go for Velveeta sandwiches. And Velveeta is rich in important food values from milk. For instance, it helps supply Junior with fine protein for strong muscles, minerals that help build sound teeth and bones, vitamins needed for normal growth. Yes, Velveeta helps supply many important food values from milk that youngsters should have. And Velveeta is as digestible as milk itself, so the youngsters can have it as often as they want. And they'll want Velveeta sandwiches often, because this cheese food is so good eating, with a grand, rich-tasting, yet mild cheddar cheese flavor they especially like. So, Mom, spread or slice the golden Velveeta thick for those box lunches, or for the quick meals you fix for the children at home. And remember, when you buy, it's smart to get that Velveeta in the 2-pound loaf, so you'll have plenty on hand for after-school snacks and hot main dishes, too. Just be sure you get genuine Velveeta. It's the cheese food of Kraft quality. Well, when the great Gildersleeve found out he had a new neighbor, he immediately went over and extended the hand of hospitality. Now he suspects the hand was bitten. Anyway, he's on his way over to collect for a long-distance call.
I don't mind him borrowing the light bulbs. They only cost a few pennies. It won't hurt to tactfully remind him that his call to South Dakota cost $7.80.
Well, hello, neighbor.
Hello.
Come in. We're seeing a lot of each other today, aren't we?
Well, yeah.
Yes, you might say we're beating a path to each other's door. Hey, by the way, do you have any mouse traps over there?
Mouse traps? Well, there may be a few in the garage you can borrow. Must have been nice to talk to your wife way up in South Dakota.
Say, that reminds me.
Yeah?
My wife likes the couch in front of the bay window.
Oop.
You grab that end, and I'll take this end, and we'll put it over there.
Well, if that's the way she wants it.
You'll have to lift up a little more.
Pretty heavy. Must be full of rocks.
Good work, Gildersleeve.
Did you get this couch in Sioux Center?
Oh, sure.
Long way to Sioux Center. But on the other hand, it's as close as my telephone.
That's awfully kind of you, Gildersleeve. I'll probably take you up on it from time to time.
Yes, but
I'm being quite sincere in saying this, Gildersleeve. I hope we'll be neighbors for a good many years. Just live here and grow old together.
He's giving me a head start. Hello, Peavy.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you this afternoon?
I think I need a long, tall Coke, Peavy.
Very well.
This little man has had a busy day.
That so?
Yeah. I've got a new neighbor, Peavy.
So I hear. The judge tells me you two hit it off right away.
Well, he's hitting me off. I tell you, Peavy, a man makes a mistake trying to be too good a neighbor.
Feel that you've been getting in his way, do you?
Getting in his way? Peavy, what would you say to a man who called long distance on your telephone and then just walked out?
I wouldn't say anything.
What?
Why should I? This is a payphone.
No, Peavy. This was on my own telephone at home. He ran up a bill over $7 talking to his wife in South Dakota.
Well, when a man's talking to his wife, you know how it is. No, I guess you wouldn't either.
You just can't dent him, Peavy. I went over to remind him about the phone call, and first thing I knew, he had me moving his furniture.
My.
His name's Pearson. Two Pants Pearson.
Odd middle name, Pants.
Yeah, the worst part of it is he's settling down next door to me. Plans to spend the rest of his life there.
Well...
Says he and I can grow old together. A fine prospect for the future. What would you do in a situation like this, Peavy?
Well,
No, I don't know why I'm asking you. You never had anybody come right in and take over. You never had anybody monopolize the conversation.
Well,
Never let you get a word in edgewise.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Well, I can't insult the fellow, Peavy. I don't know what to do with him.
Well, it's hard to tell much about a man when you've only known him one day. He might surprise you.
He's surprised me already.
And one has to be careful about coming to hasty conclusions.
Well, maybe you're right, Peavy. Pearson's pretty upset, moving and all. I suppose I should give him a fair chance.
I would think so.
George, I was hasty in judging Pearson. Could be a nice fella. Just snowed under with all that furniture. Moving and all. Got a lot of things on his mind.
It's quite possible. Of course, you can't be sure.
I realize that, Peavy.
I got chummy with a neighbor once.
Worked out all right, didn't it?
Well, that's how I got Mrs. Peavy.
What a day. Bertie!
Yes, Miss Gildersleeve?
I'm starved. What are you going to have for dinner?
Well, we're going to have lamb chop
Good.
With boiled potatoes, gravy, and Brussels sprouts.
Sounds wonderful, Bertie.
Yes, sir.
Guess I'll go read the paper till it's ready.
Hi, Unc.
Hello, Leroy.
Hey, was it okay to let your pal next door borrow the axe?
Sure, good old Pearson.
Is it okay if he broke the handle?
Sure, what?
I forgot to tell you, Mr. Gildersleeve, I let the man next door take the dishpan.
All right, Bertie.
That's his ring.
He's getting pretty frisky.
You want to turn out the lights and pretend we're not home, Unc?
No, Leroy. I'll answer the door.
Well, hi, neighbor.
Neighbor. Hello, Mr. Pearson. What can we do for you this time?
I wonder if I might borrow a couple of your pots.
Pots?
I'm going to do a little cooking, and I haven't had time to unpack the kitchen things.
Oh, well, you go out and talk to Bertie. She's custodian of the pots and pans.
Thank you. I'll talk to good old Bertie.
Who was at the door, Uncle Mort?
Nobody for you, Marjorie. Mr. Pearson.
Oh, is he over again?
Yeah, this time he's borrowing pots and pans.
Is he going to cook his own dinner? Why don't you invite him to have dinner with us?
Well,
Since his wife isn't here to do these things, I think it'd be a very neighborly gesture.
I don't know. I've become a little shy of these neighborly gestures. But I guess I should.
Well, Bertie gave me everything I need.
Mr. Pearson, why cart all our pans over to your house? Why not stay and have dinner with us?
Oh, I wouldn't think of imposing on you folks.
Why, we'd be glad to have you, Mr. Pearson.
Thank you very much, but I don't want to be a nuisance.
Oh, no.
Will you open the door for me, Gildersleeve?
Yeah, certainly.
Thank you. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, that's all right. Hope he remembers where he got those pots and pans.
Now, Unky, you told him to come over for anything he wanted.
Yeah, I guess I did.
Well, there he is again.
So soon? Yes, Mr. Pearson.
Hello again, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Hello.
Was awfully silly of me to take those pots and pans.
Huh?
I got outside the door, then I remembered my gas hasn't been turned on.
Oh, it hasn't? Well, in that case, you better have dinner with us.
Oh, no, I wouldn't think of imposing. But I wonder if good old Bertie had let me use one of her back burners.
Yes, but you know the way to the kitchen.
Bertie, I certainly enjoy cooking.
Yes, sir.
You going to be using that other burner very long?
Well, I guess I can double up on things again.
Oh, that's fine. Now, let me see. If I don't get the peas started, they won't be ready the same time the fried chicken is.
No, sir.
Now, where will I cook the peas? Any suggestions, Bertie?
Okay, take the burner I'm on. I'll just dump everything together.
That's quite a dish you've concocted, Bertie.
Yes, sir. I hope they think so. Got to take it in anyway. Sorry I'm so late, Mr. Gildersleeve.
That's all right, Bertie. We realize you're not operating under ideal conditions.
No, sir. Bertie's been cooking a long time, but this is the first time she's been shoved right off her own stove.
How are you and Mr. Pearson getting along?
Care for some stew?
Stew?
I thought we were having lamb chops.
Yes, Bertie. Where are the lamb chops?
In the stew. We're having lamb chop stew.
What?
What about the Brussels sprouts and potatoes?
In the stew.
Oh, my.
Couldn't help it, Mr. Gildersleeve. When he started taking over all the burners, I had to pour the little pots in the big pot.
Well, this has gone far enough.
Heads up! Coming through! Hot dishes!
Hot dishes?
Don't let me interrupt your serving, Bertie. I'll just squeeze around behind Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, I'll pull up a little.
I'll be back after dinner, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
I'll return these pots and pans.
Don't bother. I'll send Bertie over for him tomorrow. Sometimes people have a way of forgetting to return these little things, Mr. Pearson.
Well, whatever you say, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Unky, I think you hurt his feelings.
Well, look what he did to my dinner. Stew. 9 o'clock. I guess Pearson isn't going to return our pans.
Well, you told him not to come back, Unky.
No, I didn't. All I
You
said...
practically invited him out of the house. Wouldn't surprise me if he never speaks to you again.
Well, I didn't mean to offend him.
Too bad, Unc. He's kind of a nice guy.
What a day. Guess I'll go up to bed. Good night, infants.
Good night, Unky. So long, Unc.
Leroy, you better be getting to bed, too.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I was too hard on Pearson. He was such a big nuisance. Still, he's a stranger in the town. Doesn't know anybody. We're the only ones he could come to. He's borrowed nearly everything we've got in the place. But he does it in such a nice way. You can't dislike him too much. Marjorie's right. I offended him. Poor old Twopence. Probably sitting over there in that cold, empty house wearing both pairs. Well, I'll open the window and wind the clock. I'll set the alarm for 8 o'clock. Sleep as long as I can.
Hello there, neighbor.
Well, it's Pearson at his window. Hello, neighbor.
What time are you setting the alarm for, Gildersleeve?
8 o'clock.
I don't want to impose on you, but would you mind leaving your window open and setting your alarm a half hour earlier? I'm an early bird.
We'll hear from the great Gildersleeve again very shortly. This week in Chicago, the 28th National 4-H Club Congress is in session. 1,500 boys and girls selected for their outstanding 4-H club work are gathering together to make new plans for the future and to take stock of past accomplishments. Accomplishments that have really been great. And in recognition of their splendid performance in the National Dairy Production Contest sponsored by the Kraft Foods Company, 10 of these young people were guests of honor at a dinner last night attended by leaders of the dairy industry. Mr. J.L. Kraft, chairman of the board of the Kraft Foods Company, awarded 6 of these ambitious youngsters a college scholarship, an opportunity for each one to build his knowledge and to contribute even more toward sound dairy development in America. This nation can be truly proud of the nearly 2 million 4-H Club boys and girls and their leaders who are putting the words of their theme into action and devoting themselves to better living for a better world.
Gildersleeve?
Oh, it's him again. Hello, neighbor.
Gildersleeve, I feel terrible. I walked out yesterday and forgot to pay you for that phone call to Sioux Center.
Well, those things happen. It was only $7.80. If you need change, I think I have it here.
I can't thank you enough for all you've done, neighbor.
Well, that's all right.
Believe me, it isn't often a fellow can come into a town, a complete stranger, and be treated as royally as you've treated me.
Well, thank you, old man.
Don't think I'll ever forget it either.
Oh, it was nothing.
Well, I have to run along, Gildersleeve. Goodbye.
Goodbye, neighbor. Fine fellow, that Pearson. Yes, indeed. Wait a minute. What about that $7.80?
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Harold Perry. The show was written by Paul West, John Elliott, and Andy White, with music by Jack Meakin. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Mary Lee Robb, Lillian Randolph, Earl Ross, Dick LeGrand, Gloria Holliday, and Herb Vibrant. This is Jay Stewart saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
Good night.
Ladies, Pabstet, the delicious cheddar cheese food, is offering you a knife of 100 uses, the Super Slicer. It pairs faster, slices cleaner, removes olives and cherries from bottles in a jiffy. It's the handiest kitchen knife in years. And you can get this knife for only 25 cents and the top label of a round package of delicious Pabstet cheese food or the red arrow from the top of a 2-pound Pabstet loaf. Send your Pabstet label in your quarter tonight to Phoenix Pabstet, Box 5239, Chicago 77, Illinois. Please print your return address.
Break the Bank, radio's biggest money-paying show, is next on NBC.
The Kraft Foods Company, makers of Kraft Quality Foods, present Harold Perry as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you by the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous cheese food Velveeta. Everybody goes for Velveeta's rich yet mild cheddar cheese flavor in snacks, in sandwiches, and in hot dishes. And Velveeta, you know, helps supply important food values from milk and is as digestible as milk itself. That's why smart homemakers keep Velveeta on hand regularly to spread or slice and to melt for grand economical hot dishes. Tomorrow, get Velveeta, the cheese food of Kraft quality. Well, for a long time now, the Great Gildersleeve's doorbell has been ringing every evening at the same time. And Marjorie rushes to the door with the same eager anticipation to greet the same young man.
Hiya, Marge.
And this gets the same reaction from the Great Gildersleeve.
Good evening, Mr. Gildersleeve. Hi, Leroy.
Hello, Bronco.
Hi.
I brought the records, Marge.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, come on, Leroy. Let's you and I go into the dining room.
Gosh, why do we have to leave the room every time Bronco comes over?
Leroy?
Oh, you don't have to leave, Mr. Gildersleeve. We're just going to play some records.
Bronco got a new album, Romeo and Juliet. It's the opera.
Well, good.
I don't think you care for opera, do you, Unky?
No.
I do.
Leroy, you don't even know what it's about.
The heck I don't. It's about love.
Young man, come into the dining room.
Okay.
Close those doors. I want to have a little talk with you.
What did I do?
Leroy, why do I always have to drag you out of the parlor when Bronco comes to see Marjorie?
Gosh, why do they always want to be alone?
Well, you heard them. They want to play Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. He's going to be Romeo and she'll be Juliet. That love stuff. Yeah.
Don't be silly, Leroy. Bronco and Marjorie are not in love.
Ha! You ought to see her diary.
Young man, have you been reading Marjorie's diary?
Well, she left it open on her desk. Dear diary, Bronco just left and my heart left with him.
Leroy, I don't want to know what's in it.
And you know how she signs off, Unc?
No, and I don't... How does she?
Good night, my one and only.
One and only. Well, all young girls write things like that in their diaries.
Excuse me, Miss Gildersleeve.
Oh, am I in your way, Bertie?
No, just want to get one of these plates. Miss Marjorie wants me to fix sandwiches again.
Well, fine.
I don't know why they want sandwiches. They never eat them.
They don't? Can't understand a big, hungry-looking fellow like Bronco not eating.
Well, that's love, Mr. Gildersleeve.
No, Bertie?
Oh, when people are in love, they don't eat. And them two don't eat, so they're in love.
Bertie, that doesn't mean a thing.
No, sir. And when Miss Margie don't see any other young man except Mr. Bronco, it don't mean a thing.
Well...
And when he rings that bell every night and she breaks her neck to get to the door, it don't mean a thing.
Bertie?
When every other word is Bronco this and Bronco that, you know what it means, Miss Gildersleeve?
Well, Bertie...
That's right, it don't mean a thing.
It might mean something at that. Good morning, Peavy.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you this morning?
Give me a cup of coffee, Peavy.
Very well. Trying to wake up this morning, are you, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, I am a little sleepy. Peavy, how many nights a week should a young man call on his girlfriend?
Well, I'd say that's your business as long as you don't neglect the water department.
What?
And don't fall asleep at the faucet.
Peavy, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Marjorie's boyfriend.
Oh.
Bronco Thompson. I've suddenly realized, Peavy, that Marjorie is going steady.
Don't say.
Yeah. And I don't think she should confine herself to one boyfriend.
Well, you may have something there. I know when I was a young man, I didn't confine myself to one girlfriend.
Yeah, I'll bet you didn't.
No, sir. One Sunday afternoon, I'd sit in the parlor with one girl, and the next Sunday afternoon, I'd be sitting in the parlor with another girl, perhaps way at the other end of town.
Oh? You were really living, eh, Peavy?
Yes, indeed. Come Sunday afternoon, you know what I had on my knee, Mr. Gildersleeve?
On your knee?
A banjo.
Oh, friend.
And whenever things started getting serious, I'd strike up a tune. My father always told me to beware of entanglements and play the field.
That's not a bad idea, Peavy. I think Marjorie should do the same thing. Scatter her dates around a little.
And that's what I used to do. One Sunday afternoon, I'd sit in the parlor with
You told me, Peavy.
I didn't tell you everything.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me, Mr. Gildersleeve. That looks like young Marshal Bullard pulling up in his father's Cadillac.
Marshal Bullard? Say, he must be home from school for the holidays.
Seems so. He was in this morning and left an order. Let's see if I have everything for him. Shaving lotion, pipe cleaners, nail buffer.
Nail buffer? That sounds like Marshal Bullard, all right. Gets more like his father every day. Junior stuffed shirt.
I thought you rather liked young Marshal. He used to call on Marjorie, as I recall.
Well, he used to run back and forth across the street. What a pest. He hasn't had a date with Marjorie since he went to Harvard. And say, maybe that's an idea. Well, hello, Marshal. Welcome back to Summerfield.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Back for the holidays?
Yes.
Does Marjorie know you're in town?
Well...
You'll have to drop across the street and see us. All of us. Soon. Tonight, maybe.
My.
Well, I'd like to, but I just got home, and of course I'd like to see Marjorie.
Good. I was just telling Peavy how much you and Marjorie used to see each other, and how our whole family has missed having you around. Wasn't I, Peavy?
Well, now, I would...
Yes, indeed. Welcome home, Marshal. Marjorie.
Yes, Unky?
Isn't it about time you powdered your little nose and prettied up a bit?
Bronco thinks I'm pretty.
Yes?
Besides, it isn't time for him to come over yet.
Well, one of your other beaux might drop over.
Unky, I don't have any other beau, and you know it.
You might have a secret admirer. Marshal Bullard's in town.
Marshal Bullard?
Uh-huh. I saw him today in Peavy's, and they said he might drop over tonight.
Uncle Mort, what have you been up to?
Oh, Marjorie, don't you get excited. He used to come over a lot before he went to Harvard.
But I have a date with Bronco.
Well, you and Bronco just sit around and listen to records. Why can't the three of you sit around and listen to records?
Honestly, Uncle Mort, I'm not going to the door for Marshal Bullard. You answer it.
All right, but you be nice to him, Marjorie. Well, come in, Marshal.
Marshal?
Oh, Bronco. Come in. Did I say Marshal? Slip of the tongue.
Oh, hi, Marge.
Hello, Bronco.
I'm a little early. Did I surprise you?
I thought it was somebody else.
Somebody else? Who else would it be?
Well, you see, Bronco, Marjorie's a pretty popular girl, and, pardon me, I'm the doorman tonight. Well, come in, Marshal.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Who's this Marshal?
Well, Bronco, he's just home from Harvard. And
Harvard?
Marjorie, how nice to see you.
Hello, Marshal.
Here, let me look at you. Why, you're even prettier than when I left for school.
Oh, Marshal.
And can this be Leroy? My, how you've grown.
I'm not Leroy.
Marshal, this is Bronco Thompson.
Oh.
Bronco, this is Marshal Bullard.
Yes, Marshal lives across the street. He and Marjorie grew up together.
Oh, ho.
How do you do, Bronco?
Hello, Bullard.
Here, let me take your coat and gloves, Marshal.
Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, real pigskin.
Marjorie, I thought we might take a spin in the Cadillac tonight. It's a much sweeter job than the one we used to run around in.
Well, Marshal...
Oh, it seems like old times to be in this living room again. Oh, it was awfully nice of you folks to invite me over tonight.
Well, I guess I'd better be going.
So soon, Bronco?
Bronco, you're not leaving.
Well, I wasn't exactly invited over. I just dropped in, as usual.
No need to leave, Bronco.
Oh, of course not, old man. All three of us can take a drive in the cad.
No, thanks. I have things to do.
Oh, Bronco, please, don't go.
I think I'd better... Good night, Marge.
Good night.
Well, perhaps you can come over tomorrow night, Bronco. You're welcome any time, and so is Marshall.
Thanks, Mr. Gildersleeve. Good night.
Good night. Marjorie, come inside with me now. You left Marshall in the parlor.
Uncle Mort, look what you've done.
What?
Now Bronco's all upset.
He's not upset. Well, I guess he is a little upset.
Haven't seen him around for 2 nights in a row. You might ask Uncle Mort about that, Leroy.
No, my dear.
Dear Diary, Bronco didn't call tonight, and am I blue? Oh, stop it.
Marjorie, come away from the window.
She's watching for Bronco. This is the time he used to show up. In the good old days.
Come over and sit down by your old uncle, my dear.
I haven't the slightest desire to sit by you, Uncle Mort. I'll never forgive you for inviting Marshal Bullard over.
Marjorie, I was only doing what I thought was best for you. Besides, this should be good for Bronco. There's nothing like competition to fire up a suitor. And if I know Bronco...
Hey, Marge! That's Bronco's car. Oh, it is? It is. It's Bronco.
Well, what did I tell you, Marjorie? I knew he'd come back.
Oh, Unky, at last.
Yeah, I'll let him in, Marjorie.
No, I'll let him in.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Hello, Bronco.
Hi, Marge.
Well, Bronco, come in.
No, thanks, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'll just stand here in the doorway and say what I have to say.
What?
Bronco, come on in. Don't be silly.
I'm not being silly, Marge. I've been thinking this out for 3 days. I don't think I should take up any more of your time.
Bronco, what are you talking about?
Marge, you'll be a lot better off going with Marshal Bullard than with me.
What?
Now, Bronco, there's no reason why both you and Marshall can't see Marjorie.
Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve, but I'm bowing out. It's for Marjorie's own good. I've got it all figured out on paper.
On paper?
Yes, sir. I drew a line down the middle of the sheet, and I put Marshall's qualifications on one side and mine on the other.
Oh, Fred.
He's got money, a Harvard background, a big car, expensive clothes, and what did I have on my side of the paper? Blank.
Bronco Thompson, you're being ridiculous.
Yeah, guess I am ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness.
And when I found out you and Marshall were childhood sweethearts, well, I can't break up a beautiful thing like that. I'm no cad, Mr. Gildersleeve.
We know that, Bronco. We all think you're a fine boy.
Well, he'll be better for Marjorie.
What's going on out here?
Leroy, you stay out of this.
I'll say goodbye now.
Bronco.
Thanks for everything. But now, let's part with no regrets.
But, Bronco...
I'll just walk off into the fog.
Uncle Mort, I want to have a talk with you.
No, Marjorie.
There's no fog out there. What a character.
The great Gildersleeve will be back in just a minute. Remember the saying, a man may work from sun to sun, but a woman's work is never done. Well, you homemakers can remedy that situation when it comes to after-hours snack fixin'. Just keep your refrigerator stacked with a 2-pound loaf of Kraft's famous cheese food, Velveeta, for good-eating snacks that Dad and the youngsters can fix themselves. They can spread Velveeta on crispy crackers, or slice it thick for hearty sandwiches that are good cold and extra special good toasted to a bubbling gold. But no matter how they fix swell-tasting Velveeta, they'll be mighty pleased with its grand, rich, yet mild cheddar cheese flavor. And you'll be pleased because Velveeta is good for the folks. You see, Velveeta is rich in important food values from milk. For instance, it helps supply protein for strong muscles, minerals that help build sound teeth and bones, vitamins needed for normal growth. And you know, Velveeta snacks are perfect any time because this cheese food is as digestible as milk itself. So for snacks that provide Dad and the youngsters with wholesome good eating and provide you, Mother, with a little extra time, keep stocked with a 2-pound loaf of Velveeta. Just be sure you get the cheese food of top quality when you buy. Genuine Velveeta, made only by Kraft. Well, the great Gildersleeve didn't like the idea of his niece Marjorie going steady with Bronco Thompson. So he invited Marshal Bullard over to give Bronco a little competition. How's it working out? It isn't.
Isn't Marjorie having any dinner, Bertie?
No, sir. Have another hot biscuit, Leroy?
Yeah, I'll take those two that are stuck together. Gosh, imagine Marge not eating dinner for 2 nights.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about that girl.
No, sir.
I don't know how she does it. She must be sneaking crackers.
Yep. All right, Leroy. I'll handle this thing.
Maybe she's living on love.
Never mind. I did what I thought was best, Bertie. A girl owes it to herself to look around a little.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know Bronco would act this way. Run off like a scared jackrabbit the minute a Harvard boy in a Cadillac came around.
No, sir.
After all, I'm not the smartest man in the world, Bertie.
No, sir.
Where do you suppose Bronco disappeared to, Unc? You think he joined the Foreign Legion?
I doubt that, Leroy. The way he acted, I doubt if he has enough gumption to join anything.
Here she comes, Unc.
Leroy, let's be tactful. Let's pretend we didn't even notice she wasn't here.
I get you.
Well, hello, my dear.
Hi. Hello.
Sit down, Marjorie. Perhaps Leroy and I started a little early.
Yeah. We didn't even notice you weren't here.
Tactful little fellow.
I might have a little dessert.
Dessert? Good. Take mine. I wasn't going to eat it anyway.
You in love too, Unc?
Have a date tonight, Marjorie?
Yes.
Well, anybody we know?
Marshal Bullard.
Oh, Marshal again, eh?
Well, that's what you wanted, isn't it, Uncle Moore?
Well, no, it isn't, Marjorie.
Well, that's what you're going to get. You drove Bronco away, and now you're going to see Marshal Bullard around here until you're as sick of him as I am.
Marjorie.
Hey, maybe that's Bronco on the phone. I know who it is. Hello? Oh, hello, Marshal.
Zeke.
Why, of course, Marshal. I'd love to. Come over any time. The sooner the better. Goodbye.
That settles it. I've got to get Bronco back in the parlor.
Good morning, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, Bronco, come on into my office.
I got your phone call, but I didn't want to come to your house. I thought it better if we met down here.
Yeah, good idea. Put your little packages on the desk and sit down, my boy.
Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Where you been keeping yourself these evenings, Bronco?
I've been sitting in the park feeding the pigeons.
Well, don't you think you should be dropping by the house once in a while, my boy?
Oh, no, Mr. Gildersleeve. Oh, that's no place for me now.
Oh? Well, what would you say if I told you Marshal Bullard has been seeing Marjorie quite often?
Well, I'd say, lucky him.
But doesn't it make you a little jealous? Doesn't it make you want to put up a fight? Ask for a date, maybe?
Mr. Gildersleeve, I'm doing what I think is best for Marjorie.
Oh, brother, we're right back where we started.
Marshall has a lot more to offer Marjorie than I have, and all I'm interested in is her happiness.
Yes. By the way, you left all your record albums in the parlor. Don't you think you should drop by and pick them up? No use letting Marshall and Marjorie play Romeo and Juliet.
I'd like Marjorie to have my records. For old Lang Syne.
For old Lang Syne. I give up.
Goodbye, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Think it over, Bronco. Remember, faint heart near one fair lady.
No, sir. But a Cadillac and a Harvard education can do it.
Oh, my goodness. Say, the boy left his packages here. Popcorn. Must be for the pigeons. What's this book? Life in a Monastery.
Anybody home?
Oh, come in, Judge.
Good morning, Gildy. Wasn't that Bronco I saw going down the hall?
Well, it could have been, Judge.
What are you reading, Gildy?
Well,
Life in a Monastery. Are you thinking of donning the cloth?
all right, Judge. Put the book down. It belongs to Bronco.
Oh? Poor fellow. From what you've told me, the boy probably considers himself a martyr.
I suppose so. He's completely withdrawn from the field, and poor little Marjorie is just eating her heart out.
Too bad. Doesn't Bronco know how Marjorie feels about it?
How can he, Judge? He won't even come near her. I tried to make him jealous so he'd show Marjorie a little fight, but nothing happened. He just blinked his eyes and looked at me like a sick chicken.
Gildy, why didn't you come right out and tell Bronco that Marjorie prefers him to Marshal Bulliver?
Well,
Bronco's been belittling himself. But if he knew that Marjorie's happiness depended on him, he'd be over there in a jiffy.
say, I believe he would at that.
Then you can leave everything up to Marjorie. A woman can't hide her true feelings, Gildy. I know.
Oh. By George, Horace, that's a prize-winning idea. I'm glad you thought of it.
Thank you, Gildy.
Yes, sir. And here's your prize, Judge.
Popcorn? For me?
No, the popcorn's for the pigeons. You get to eat the bag, you old goat.
Gildy!
I feel better already, Judge. You know, I'm certainly glad you see it my way at last, Bronco.
Well, Mr. Gildersleeve, all I've been thinking about is Marjorie's happiness. But if she isn't happy with Marshall around, then he shouldn't be around.
Yeah, that's the spirit, Bronco.
I'm the fellow who should be around.
You said it. Why, only this morning, Marjorie said she was sick of seeing Marshall.
Is that so?
Yeah. You'll see it with your own eyes when we get in the house. A woman can't hide her true feelings, you know.
Well, I don't know much about that. Marjorie's the only woman I know.
Oh, yeah. They'll be in the parlor. Let's go right in.
All right. I know three's a crowd, but if Marjorie doesn't like the fella, I feel like crowding somebody.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Hello, Uncle Morris.
Good evening, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, hello, Marshall. Guess who's with me, Marjorie?
Hiya, Marge.
Well, I haven't seen you in quite a while, Mr. Bronco Thompson.
Not very enthusiastic.
Oh, I've been around. Hello, Bullard.
Well, hello.
Bronco's been pretty busy.
Oh?
Yeah. Nice to see Bronco again. We missed him, haven't we, Marjorie?
Have we?
Must be a window open someplace.
What have you been doing, Marge?
Oh, Marshall and I have been having a glorious time. Haven't we, Marshall?
Oh, yes, we've really been doing the town, as they say.
Marshall is so much fun.
He is?
Yeah, it's good to have Bronco around again. Of course, it's nice to see Marshall, too.
Marshall's been so sweet to me, so thoughtful.
That's fine.
What's she trying to do?
Marshall's a perfect dream on the dance floor, Bronco.
Well, guess I'll be going.
Oh, he's collapsed again. Now, wait a minute, Bronco.
Yes, don't run away, old man.
I have things to do. Good night, Marjorie. I hope you'll be very happy.
Jellyfish.
Well, I'll be running along too, Bronco. Just stop in for a minute.
Don't leave on my account.
Oh, no, I was just telling Marjorie I have another date tonight.
You have another date?
Why, of course.
When you're going with a girl as sweet as Marjorie, you have the nerve to go out with another girl?
Why not?
Oh, you cad!
That did it. There he goes.
Marshall Bullard, you're a cad and a bounder.
Oh, Bronco.
Stand aside, girl. Bullard, come outside and defend yourself.
Wait a minute, I'm leaving.
You bet you're leaving.
Now, fellas. Now, hold on, Bronco. Run, Bullard.
Come back, you soldier.
Bronco, stop.
Run, Bullard, run. He made it to his front door just in the nick of time.
Oh, Unky, isn't Bronco wonderful?
Yeah, and Marshall's a bounder, all right. You see how he cleared that hedge?
We'll hear from the great Gildersleeve again very shortly. Lady, if all the menu planning talk you hear about making use of leftovers leaves you a little skeptical, here's an idea that's bound to make you a believer. It's the glorious golden cheese sauce you can make the easy way with Kraft's smooth-melting cheese food Velveeta. With this Velveeta sauce, you can positively transform fish or ham or chicken or veal into a main dish that makes a really triumphant second appearance. You see, Velveeta has such a wonderful, rich, yet mild cheddar cheese flavor. And Velveeta has a lot of fine nourishment, too, the kind you expect from a main dish. To make this easy sauce, just melt 1/2 pound of Velveeta in the top of your double boiler. Stir in 1/4 cup of milk and season. Glamorize your leftovers with this golden good sauce of wholesome Velveeta real soon. Get a 2-pound loaf tomorrow, so you'll have plenty for both cooking and snacks. Get genuine Velveeta, the cheese food of Kraft quality.
I think there's somebody at the door, Marjorie. Probably Bronco.
Oh, I'll let him in, Unky. Well, here we go again. Back to the dining room.
Leroy?
Hello, Marge.
Hello, Bronco. Romeo and Juliet.
Good evening, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, hello, Bronco.
I stopped in at the telegraph office on my way over, and I brought some news for you.
News? Oh, what is it?
They got the winning title for your song. It's Tug of My Heart.
Tug of My Heart? Well, good. Thank you, Bronco. Come on, Leroy.
Well, Unky, you don't have to go in the dining room.
No, you don't have to, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, you know what they say. 2's company,
3's a crowd.
and 4 is a... Well, good night, little children.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Harold Perry. The show was written by Paul West, John Elliott, and Andy White, with music by Jack Meakin. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Mary Lee Robb, Lillian Randolph, Earl Ross, Dick LeGrand, Dick Crenna, and Gil Stratton. This is Jay Stewart saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products.
Good night for me, too.
Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
Ladies, Pabst-Ett, the delicious cheddar cheese food, is offering you a knife of 100 uses, the Super Slicer. It tears faster, slices cleaner, removes olives and cherries from bottles in a jiffy. It's the handiest kitchen knife in years. And you can get this knife for only 25 cents and the top label of a round package of delicious Pabst-Ett cheese food or the red arrow from the top of a 2-pound Pabst-Ett loaf. Send your Pabst-Ett label and your quarter tonight to Phoenix Pabst-Ett, Box 5239, Chicago 77, Illinois. Please print your return address. Break the Bank, radio's biggest money-paying show, is next on NBC.
The Kraft Foods Company, makers of Kraft quality foods, presents Harold Perry as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you by the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous cheese food Velveeta. Everybody goes for Velveeta's rich yet mild cheddar cheese flavor in snacks, in sandwiches, and in hot dishes. And Velveeta, you know, helps supply important food values from milk and is as digestible as milk itself. That's why smart homemakers keep Velveeta on hand regularly to spread or slice and to melt for grand economical hot dishes. Tomorrow, get Velveeta, the cheese food of Kraft quality. Well, it's a crisp, cold night in Summerfield. Here and there, a lighted Christmas tree glows warmly in a window. Holly wreaths have begun to appear. The ground is white with new snow, and it's still falling. Big fat flakes that cling to the porches and the trees, and to the brim of the great Gildersleeve's hat as he hurries down his front steps. Makes a cautious turn as he reaches the sidewalk, and then strides gaily up the street toward Catherine Milford's house.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. What?
Wait for me.
Leroy, I wouldn't run so fast. These sidewalks are slippery.
Sure, I can slide even. Look here.
Pretty good. This is one time those big feet come in handy. Better than skis, Leroy.
Where you going, Unc?
Well, I thought I'd be dropping in at Miss Milford's for a while this evening.
Can I walk with you? I'm going to Piggy's house. They're putting up their tree tonight. We're going to decorate it.
Well, good. Don't stand on the furniture.
You going to help Miss Milford decorate her tree?
Well, you can never tell, Leroy. We may string a few cranberries, drape the icicles around.
What if Dr. Olson is there?
Leroy, don't you worry about Dr. Olson.
I'm not. But you said he was a pain in the neck. You said he was always hanging around her house when you wanted to be there.
Well, you weren't supposed to have heard that, but it used to be that way.
How is it now?
Yeah. Suffice it to say, my boy, that your old uncle has a situation very well under control. The fact is, I haven't seen Dr. Clarence Q. Olson in over 3 weeks.
Gee, then you're winning, aren't you, Unc?
You bet I'm winning.
Golly, you got to be smart to be the doctor, too.
You said it.
Gee, you're my uncle.
Yeah.
Well, here's Piggy's house. See you later, Unc.
Yeah, see you later, Leroy. Yes, sir, there's a mighty fine boy.
Well, Throckmorton.
Hello, Catherine.
Come on in. My, it's snowing out, isn't it?
Well, just a little.
Look at you. You have a big snowflake right on the end of your nose.
I do? Well, cold nose, warm heart.
Let me take your coat.
Thank you. Well, beautiful tree, Catherine. And Christmas presents. All those for me?
No, but you can help me finish wrapping them.
Fine. A lot of presents.
Well, Mother and I have a lot of relatives.
Oh, sure.
Then I couldn't forget those darling children down at the hospital.
Oh?
There are 5 of them that Santa Claus may not remember.
Well, good for you, Catherine. Be a shame if any little kiddies were forgotten on Christmas.
Here, put your finger on this ribbon while I tie the knot, huh?
Kind of cold. I'll try it. Yeah. Well, interesting paper you're using, Catherine. Mistletoe design.
Just put the package over there.
Well, I think I'll balance it right on top of your head.
Throckmorton.
And you know what that means, mistletoe.
Aren't you rushing the season a little?
Well, I don't know. Only 9 more shopping days left.
You better put the package down there by the tree.
Oh, shucks. Say, here's a fancy-looking package.
I think that's Mother's gift to me.
Your mother couldn't wait, eh? Let me shake this. Bet I can guess what's in it.
Now, Throckmorton.
Oop. Card fell off.
Oh, dear.
Well, isn't that just like your mother? To the dearest girl in the world, Clarence. Clarence!
Throckmorton, give me the package. That one isn't from Mother.
Oh, I guess not. Dr. Clarence Olson, the intern, eh? I thought he'd given up.
Clarence has been on night duty at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I can hardly wait to open his present. He always thinks of the most original things.
Well, I haven't brought you my present yet. I'm liable to think of something pretty original, too.
Oh? Give me a hint.
Hint? Well?
At the hospital, Clarence keeps teasing me about what's in this package.
Oh, he does he?
Uh-huh. All he'll tell me is that it starts with a K for Catherine. Isn't that clever?
Well, I guess there's a fine line between being clever and being corny.
Now, Throckmorton, he's very ingenious. In fact, the mistletoe paper was his idea.
It was? Well, might have been his idea, but I was the first one who thought of holding it over your head. I think. Coming, Bertie. Wish I knew what that fellow Olson is giving Catherine for Christmas. I'll have to go on one better.
Good morning, Unky. Hi, Unc.
Good morning, children. Gruel. Marjorie, what Christmas presents can you think of that starts with the letter K?
K? Well... Who's the present for, Unc? A little kid we know, spelled K-I-D?
Hardly, Leroy. I was thinking about something for a young lady.
Oh, you mean me?
Well, we'll get around to you children later. There's a present under Miss Milford's tree, and it starts with a K. I'm trying to think what it is.
Forgot what you gave her, huh?
I haven't done my shopping yet, Leroy. This was from somebody else.
Oh-ho.
What do you mean, oh-ho?
Oh, it's Miss Milford's present from Dr. Olson, isn't it?
Well, yes.
Well, if it's from the doc, why do you want to know what it is, Unc?
Well, I don't want to give her the same present, Leroy. I'd like to give her something a little better.
Well, if it starts with a K, maybe it's a Kodak, Unky.
Kodak? No, it's a pretty big package.
I know, Unc. It's a kangaroo.
Okay. I doubt that, Leroy. Dr. Olson isn't that ingenious.
Canary?
I don't think it's alive, Leroy. As I recall, canary doesn't start with a K.
Like some hot coffee, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Thank you, Bertie. It could be knickknacks.
No, sir, this is coffee.
What?
Bertie, we're trying to think of some gift a woman would like starting with K.
Oh?
Any ideas, Bertie? I'm getting them from everybody, and some pretty bad ones.
Well, if it's for a woman, maybe it's something for the kitchen.
Kitchen? Well, I can't think of anything for the kitchen that starts with a K. Except Kraft cheese.
I can't think of anything.
Maybe it's kisses, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Kisses?
The candy type. You know, candy kisses wrapped in paper.
Oh, my goodness, a kitchen hillbilly. That's Dr. Olson. Wish I'd thought of giving her something starting with K for Catherine. I could give her something starting with G for Gildersleeve. Nah, that's not the same idea. Let's see. K, carrot. He could be giving her a diamond. He wouldn't dare. Kettle drums. Kilts. He wouldn't give her those. She'd look cute in kilts, though.
Well, good morning, Gildy.
Well, the Honorable Judge Hooker. Good morning, Horace.
You were walking along with a faraway look in your eye. Were you dreaming of a white Christmas?
Oh, Goat, I'm trying to get an idea about a Christmas present for Miss Milford, Horace.
Oh? Have you tried looking in the stores?
No, thanks for the idea.
Not at all. But if you're going to do any shopping, Gildy, you better get busy or there won't be anything left.
Don't you worry, Judge. You'll get your necktie.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But I didn't mean that, Gildy. It just seems that everybody I know has been Christmas shopping. I bumped into Floyd, Chief Gates, your current amour, Miss Milford.
Oh?
And yesterday I even ran into your arch rival, Dr. Olson.
Olson? Where did you run into him, Horace?
Why, in Hogan Brothers, but why are you so excited, Gildy?
Now we're getting someplace. What department was he in?
Well, as I recall, he was in the gift shopping.
Oh? Do you remember who waited on Olson? What did the sales girl look like?
Sales girl? Well, dark wavy hair, parted in the middle, black mustache.
Black mustache?
Oh, no. I'm thinking of the floor walker.
Well, think a little harder, Judge. What did the sales girl look like? I've got to talk to her.
Well, as I recall, she was rather tall.
Oh?
Or was she short? That's it, a short brunette.
Good.
Or was she a blonde?
Oh, my goodness. Judge, come along with me and point her out.
Gladly, Gildy. She was pretty, as I recall. Or was she?
Yes. Look at all those shoppers. Stay right behind me, Judge.
Don't you worry about me, Gildy. If I start losing ground, I'll grab you by the coattails.
Oh, pardon me, miss. Madam. Oop.
Are you
Excuse me, coming through. Yeah, here's the gift shop. Now, where's the sales girl, Horace?
There she is at the end of the counter.
Oh?
Are you being held?
Not yet, miss. I'd like a little information.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Clarence Olson, a friend of mine, was in your department yesterday and bought something.
As I recall, he was carrying a little black bag, and he placed it on your counter here.
I seem to remember that.
Yes, he's a tall young man with blonde, wavy hair.
Oh, you mean the tall, handsome, blonde man.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say he's handsome.
That sounds like Dr. Olson to me.
Please, Horace. Miss, do you remember what he bought?
Well, he looked at several things.
He did. We're on the right track, Judge. Now I'll find out what he got for Catherine.
I showed him a diamond necklace like this.
The Hyman necklace?
My.
But he didn't buy it.
Good.
Then he looked at these watches.
Platinum.
But he didn't buy one.
Young lady, what did he buy?
Well, he just bought something for $5.
Only $5. Cheapskate. I'll buy Catherine something more expensive than that.
My, nothing like the true Christmas spirit.
All right, Judge. Young lady, what did Dr. Olson buy?
He went down to the next counter and bought a pair of suspenders.
Suspenders?
That's easy, Gildy. Now you can buy Catherine a nice pipe.
Is there something I can show you?
You can show me the way out.
The great Gildersleeve will be right back. Well, Christmas comes but once a year, so who cares if holiday preparations keep you mothers so busy you can't fuss with the old 3 squares? You can do very well without fussing. For instance, take lunch. You can serve jiffy, quick, and easy pan-fried sandwiches of Kraft's famous cheese food, Velveeta. They're delicious, with Velveeta's grand, rich, yet mild cheddar cheese flavor. And they're nourishing, too, because Velveeta is rich in important food values from milk. It helps supply protein for strong muscles, minerals that help build sound teeth and bones, vitamins needed for normal growth. Yes, Velveeta helps supply many important food values your family should have. To make these wholesome sandwiches, all you do is melt some butter or parquet margarine in a skillet. Then fry the sandwiches till the bread is golden brown on both sides and the Velveeta melting. Easy, aren't they? And so good, you'll serve wholesome pan-fried Velveeta sandwiches often, whether you're in a hurry or not. So keep your refrigerator stocked with a 2-pound loaf of Velveeta. Just be sure you get genuine Velveeta when you buy. It's the cheese food of top quality, made only by Kraft. Well, there's a fancy Christmas package under the tree at Catherine Milford's house from Gildersleeve's rival, Dr. Olson. What's in it? That's what the water commissioner would like to know.
Well, whatever it is, I'll get her something better. He may have the edge on me at the hospital, but by George, I'll beat him under the Christmas tree. I'll go all out. Hello, Peavy.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you this afternoon?
Well, I'm looking for a Christmas present, Peavy, for a lady. Something extra special.
A gift for Miss Milford, is it?
You bet. That sneaky Dr. Olson bought her something that looks pretty nice. And I'm going to go him one better. I'm going to get her something so beautiful and so clever, it'll make him look silly.
My.
Any suggestions, Peavy?
Well, what does she like? Has she dropped any hints?
No. Lately, all she talks about is those little kids she takes care of at the hospital. Must be something clever and original I could get for her, Peavy.
Well, how about a year's subscription to Reader's Digest?
Year's subscription?
Or how about a nice set of scales? Women like to weigh themselves, you know.
Peavy, she can weigh herself at the hospital.
Does she like sweetmeats?
Sweetmeats?
We have some very attractive boxes of candied prunes. Quite healthful, too.
No, Peavy.
How about some musical bath salts?
No.
Ballpoint pen?
No.
Mr. Gildersleeve, you're rather hard to please.
Oh. Peavy, I've got to get something different, something original. Now, you've had plenty of experience at this Christmas thing.
That's true.
You've been buying Christmas presents for Mrs. Peavy for 20 years.
Yes, I have.
Well, certainly after all that time, a man should know what it takes to please a woman.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, my goodness. I can see you're going to be of no help at all, Peavy. I'm going back downtown.
That's a good idea. Happy shopping, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Happy shopping to you. Oh, brother, what a mob in this store. Why does everybody wait till the last minute to buy their Christmas presents? Watch it, madam. Wonder if Catherine would like an alligator bag. No, I don't think she likes alligators. I don't either. Have to look around some more. Excuse me. Pardon me. Ow! That's my foot, lady.
Going up, please.
Oh, where's everybody rushing to? Huh? The elevator. Hey, I don't want to get on this elevator. Oh, watch it. Well, I'm in whether I want to be or not.
Second floor, phonographs, radios, toys.
Out on 2, please. Thank you. Might get her a radio. No, everybody has a radio. Have to be more original than that. I'm going to beat that slick intern. Wish I had chairs around here. My feet hurt. Might just as well sit on this little red wagon a minute. Well, cute toys up here.
Is that you, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, hello, Bertie. What are you doing up here in toys?
Oh, I got a lot of little nieces and nephews I have to buy for.
Oh, yes.
They don't have much, and when I show up on Christmas with my arms full of toys, they think I'm some pumpkin.
Yeah, I bet they do, Bertie. Say, what if I showed up with an armful of toys for those kiddies at the hospital? The ones Miss Milford is so fond of.
Them children would think you were some pumpkins, too, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah, I guess they would. What's more, I'd be some pumpkins with Miss Milford, too.
Yes, sir.
You bet. There's nothing I could do that would impress her more. By George, this is a great idea we had, Bertie. Clerk! I want to buy some toys. Whoop, what was that?
That's the wagon you just bought.
Okay, I'll buy it. And half the toy department, too. Clerk! What an idea. Dr. Olson can never top this. I'll walk in on Catherine, pass out these toys to her little kiddies, and tell her this is my Christmas present to her. What can she say except that I'm the greatest guy in the world? The kids will get a kick out of it, too. Intern, turn in your suit. Hey, this must be the ward. I see some children there. Well, hello, little children.
Hello.
Hello. Where's Miss Milford?
She'll be back. She went to get orange juice.
Oh, well, I'll just put these packages down here and wait.
Are you Santa Claus?
Me?
Nah, he's not Santa Claus. He hasn't got a white beard. But he's nice and fat. Yeah, but he's not Santa Claus. Santa Claus never comes around here.
Now, wait a minute, young fellow. I'm sort of a Santa Claus. I brought all these presents to you children.
For us? Honest and truly? Oh, boy. You see, Stuffy, he is Santa Claus. Oh, boy, I gotta come over and see them. Stuffy's lucky. He's in a wheelchair.
Oh. Well, I'll bring the presents around to your little beds when Miss Milford comes.
I want to open mine.
Now, wait a minute, Stuffy. You shouldn't open presents until Christmas.
I don't want to open mine until Christmas. I just want to dream about what's in them.
That's the idea, little girl.
While we're waiting for Miss Milford, will you read us a Christmas story?
Christmas story?
That's what she was doing. Yeah, they're in that book.
Oh, well, I like stories. I used to read them to my niece and nephew. Let's see what we've got here. Why the Chimes Rang by Raymond McDonald Alden.
I like that one. I don't know it. Well, I've been in the hospital longer than you have.
Yes. Well, let's read it, huh? We don't have much time. Once upon a time, in a faraway country, there was a wonderful church. It stood on a high hill in the midst of a great city. And every Sunday, as well as on sacred days like Christmas, thousands of people climbed the hill to its great archways, looking like lines of ants, all moving in the same direction.
They don't allow ants in a hospital. Stop interrupting, Stuffy.
Yeah, must listen, Stuffy. Now, all the people knew that at the top of the tower was a chime of Christmas bells. They had hung there ever since the church had been built, and they were the most beautiful bells in the world. Some described them as sounding like angels far up in the sky. Others as sounding like strange winds singing through the trees. But for many years, they had never been heard.
Why didn't the bells ring?
Well, we're coming to that, I guess. It was said that people had been growing less careful of their gifts for the Christ child, that no offering was brought which was fine enough to deserve the music of the chimes. Every Christmas Eve, people still crowded to the altar, each one trying to bring some gift better than any other.
Why did they do that?
Well, for personal reasons, I guess. They were trying to make a big impression.
Oh.
Now, where were we? Oh, yes. Now, a number of miles from the city, in a little country village, lived a boy named Pedro and his little brother. They had heard of the service in the church on Christmas Eve and planned to go see the beautiful celebration. Nobody can guess, little brother, Pedro would say, all the fine things there are to see and hear. And I've even heard it said that the Christ child sometimes comes down to bless the service. What if we should see him? The day before Christmas, Pedro and little brother were able to slip away quietly, and although the walking was hard in the frosty air, before nightfall they had trudged so far, hand in hand, that they saw the lights of the big city just ahead of them. They were about to enter one of the great gates in the wall that surrounded it, when they saw something dark on the snow near their path, and they stepped aside to look at it.
What was it?
Well, let's see. There by the path was a poor woman who had fallen in the snow, too sick and tired to get in where she might have found shelter.
Oh.
Pedro knelt down beside her. You will have to go on alone, little brother, he said. Alone, cried little brother. But you'll not see the Christmas festival. No, said Pedro, and he could not keep back a bit of a choking sound in his throat. See this poor woman? Her face looks like the Madonna in the chapel window, and she'll freeze to death if nobody cares for her. But I can't bear to leave you and go on alone, said little brother. Both of us need not miss the service, said Pedro, and it had better be I than you. You can easily find your way to the church, and you must see and hear everything twice, little brother. Once for you and once for me. And oh, if you get a chance, little brother, to slip up to the altar without getting in anybody's way, take this little silver piece of mine and lay it down for my offering when no one is looking. In this way, he hurried little brother off to the city and winked hard to keep back the tears as he heard the crunching footsteps sounding farther and farther away in the twilight. The great church was wonderful that night. When the organ played and the thousands of people sang, the walls shook with the sound, and little Pedro, way outside the city wall, felt the earth tremble around him. At the close of the service came the procession, with the offerings to be laid on the altar. Rich men and great men marched proudly up to lay down their gifts to the Christ child. Some brought wonderful jewels, some brought baskets of gold, but the chimes did not ring. And last of all came the king of the country, hoping with all the rest to win for himself the chime of the Christmas bells. There went a great murmur through the church as the people saw the king take from his head the royal crown, all set with precious stones, and lay it gleaming on the altar as his offering to the Holy Child. Surely, everyone said, we shall hear the bells now, for nothing like this has ever happened before. But still, only the cold old wind was heard in the tower, and the people shook their heads, and some of them said, as they had said before, that they never really believed the story of the chimes, and doubted if they ever rang at all. Suddenly everyone looked at the old minister, who was standing by the altar, holding up his hand for silence. Not a sound could be heard from anyone in the church. But as all the people strained their ears to listen, there came softly but distinctly, swinging through the air, the sound of the chimes in the tower. So far away and yet so clear the music seemed. So much sweeter were the notes than anything that had been heard before, rising and falling away up there in the sky, that the people in the church sat for a moment as still as though something held each of them by the shoulders. And they all stood up together and stared straight at the altar to see what great gift had awakened the long, silent bells. But all that the nearest of them saw was the childish figure of little brother, who had crept softly down the aisle when no one was looking and had laid Pedro's little piece of silver on the altar.
That's a wonderful story. Why did the bells ring when little brother laid the piece of silver on the altar?
Well,
Why didn't they ring when the great men brought jewels and things?
Well, like the book said, each one was trying to bring some gift better than any other. Those men were trying to outdo each other, while little Pedro gave out of the goodness of his heart. He didn't have an ulterior motive.
What's an ulterior motive?
Well, I guess that's what I had when I came here.
That's Miss Milford coming.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, guess I'll be going.
Aren't you going to wait and see our nurse? Where are you going, mister?
Well, I think I'll sneak out this side door.
But how do you know who brought the presents?
Well, that's not important anymore. Merry Christmas.
Thanks. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
I'll tiptoe down the back stairs. 5 o'clock. I didn't know the hospital had chimes.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Harold Perry. The show was written by Paul West, John Elliott, and Andy White, with music by Jack Meakin. In addition to our regular cast, you heard Ann Whitfield and Stuffy Singer as the children in the hospital. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you each week by the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous cheese food Velveeta, and the complete line of Kraft quality food products.
Here's a suggestion for Christmas time or any time. Begin now to save for a happier future with the regular purchase of United States savings bonds. Automatic purchase plans that make saving painless are available to you either where you work or where you bank. Ask about them. $3 invested now will get you $4 when the bonds mature. Or you can cash your bonds any time after 60 days and get back every cent you put in plus accrued interest. Be happy tomorrow because you were wise today. Buy United States savings bonds regularly.
Good night, folks. See you next week.
Break the Bank, radio's biggest money-paying show, is next on NBC.